Welcome to Inspiration and Transformation from the Banks of the Ganga with Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, an American sannyasi living at the Parmarth Niketan Ashram in Rishikesh, India. Sadhvi is president of the Divine Shakti Foundation, a charitable organization bringing education, vocational training, upliftment, and empowerment programs to women and children. Sadhvi is also Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Director of the world-famous International Yoga Festival. Join the musings of an American sannyasi as Sadhvi shares the wisdom and teachings of her guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswatiji.
Welcome, everyone, to Inspiration and Transformation from the holy banks of the sacred Ganga River in the land of Rishikesh, India. In the Hindu tradition, the divine manifestations each have, mostly, what's called a vahana, a vehicle. And each of them has a different vehicle. And there's many, many, many different symbols to them. And so Pujya Swamiji today in the Arati was speaking about the snakes around Lord Shiva's neck and the vehicle of Ganeshji, the mouse, and the vehicle of Kartikeya, the peacock, and because they're all a family, they're brothers and father, and how in life the snake eats the mouse and the peacock eats the snake, but how in a family they don't. And how in our families, if we are eating each other all the time, how we lose the divinity, we lose the possibility, we lose the opportunity of actually that divine connection. Now, with Shivji, the tiger is just the asan that he actually sits on in that particular form, in the meditative posture. And it actually symbolizes many, many things. There are lengthy books and courses on the meaning of all of the different elements of so many of the different manifestations. So with Lord Shiva, the snakes and the tiger and the moon and the different aspects in his hands, and Ganeshji and his trunk and the mouse. So we could look at each of them, but specifically when you look at the tiger, so one of the meanings has to do with that killer instinct, that animal instinct within us, that sense of being just an animal. And when we speak about Lord Shiva being the power that removes from us that which is not true, that which is not the highest truth, that which is blocking us, that which is holding us back, that which is dark. Well, so much of that is the animal instinct. And tigers, lions, they symbolize this very, very fully because they are the ones, the aggressive ones, who will attack just to attack, who will attack ferociously. And when Lord Shiva sits upon the tiger skin, one of the meanings of that is this conquering of that animal instinct, the conquering of that ferociousness in us that is all about the smell of blood, the taste of blood, the unprovoked attacks. And so one meaning of that is to be able to conquer that so much. Another meaning of that, since it's what he uses for meditation, is on some level we all have those instincts. They're part and parcel of the human package. Here we are in the human form. We've got all of these vasanas. We've got all of these fluctuations of the mind. We've got all of these different energies of anger and jealousy and competition, all of that. And a lot of people think, well, first I have to become free of all of that, and then I will be able to meditate. But actually, through the practice of meditation, we automatically become free of that. And so Lord Shiva, sitting in the meditative posture on the tiger, is also this symbol of, it's not first remove this animal and then I can meditate. It's even sitting here upon the animal, upon that energy of aggression, violent, all of that animal instinct. Even sitting upon that, I can meditate. And so I don't become the animal. I am aware. I am the meditator. Yes, the tiger exists. Yes, I vanquished it. I am the meditator. Whereas for so many of us, and this speaks to your question about being love, so many of us give so much weight and attention to those instincts. Oh, today I had this anger. Oh, today I had this urge. Oh, today this happened. Today. And we give so much energy to the fluctuations of the mind. Today I was very restless. Today I had to have the pizza. Today I had to have this or I had to have that. Things worse than pizza, but we'll just metaphorically call it pizza. Whatever the it is, had to have it. Desires were too much. Animal instinct was too much. Vasanas were too much. I had to do this. And what Lord Shiva in this aspect reminds us is no. Even in the face of the presence of that, you can choose in every moment. Choose peace. Choose peace. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Whatever it is that is happening, choose love. And so to become love is to choose it so much that you become it. If you chose your tiger instincts, your animal instincts enough times, you'd become that. Puja Swamiji always says, he says, from a thought comes an action. From an action comes a habit. From a habit comes a trait. From a trait comes a destiny. No, sorry, from a trait comes a character. From a character comes a destiny. One last step. So if my thought is animal instinct, there it is, and I act based on it, whether in anger, whether in impulse, whether in lust, whether in greed, I act on it. From that action comes a habit. I'm then more likely to act on it next time. That then becomes my trait. I become someone like that. That becomes my character. Like a tiger, like an animal. Only base instincts. Anger, lust, greed, power. And then that becomes my destiny. But if instead I have this beautiful thought of love, I want to be love, choose love, what that means is I'm going to choose those actions. Actions rooted in love. I'm not going to choose the actions rooted in anger or separation or animal instinct. I'm going to keep choosing it, keep choosing it, keep choosing it. And as you said so beautifully, that depression that you were suffering, that pain you were suffering came from that illusion of being not enough. And that's when I was speaking about the unripe fruit. The vast majority of us, tragically, vast majority of us move through the world with some sense of not enoughness. It was given to most of us in our childhoods. It's not our parents' fault. We live in a culture that is rooted in you are what you do, you are what you achieve. And so parents, meaning well, trying their hardest, they perpetuate that. And so we come home with an A on an exam and our parents say, oh, you're the best, come, sit in my lap, lots of hugs, lots of kisses. You come home with a fail and suddenly no lap, no love, no cookies. Suddenly the face, all the love gets withdrawn. And what you learn is I'm not inherently, innately worthy of that love. If I perform well, I get an A, my room is clean, I do my chores, I do whatever was asked of me, I'm loved. I don't perform well, I don't do what was asked of me, love is withheld. And so, in the name of just really good intentioned discipline, a lot of us move through the world with this sense of not enoughness. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. We also get compared to others. Why can't you be like so-and-so? Look at so-and-so. You should be more like so-and-so. So we have this experience of not enoughness that we fill in our lives with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with shopping, with money, with sex, with so many different ways to try to fill that sense of being not enough. And of course it doesn't work. And we're left every time again with that experience. And you're absolutely right. The only answer is love. But it has to begin with love for the self. An awareness that not only am I enough, but I'm full. I'm overflowing, rather. Literally overflowing. My cup runneth over. And when you have that experience, then act based on it. I realize you're not necessarily going to be able to touch that experience all the time. There will be lapses. But ensure that when you're having that experience, let that be the time that you choose your actions, that you make your decisions, that you move through the world from that experience. And when you're not having it, do whatever you can do to have it again. So that from those actions come your traits of moving as love. They become your habits, and then it becomes your character. And then it happens automatically. Your default way is love. It's beautiful. And there's always something to find to love. May not be exactly with the situation that has just presented itself. May not be necessarily with the words or the actions that have just been done. It may be with the smell of the rain that's falling at the same moment that you're being fired from your job. So it's not about that you have to be able to love your boss in the moment that you're being fired. Ultimately, yes, eventually that is a beautiful goal to hold out of that experience of such full love that whoever, whatever, whenever, there's nothing but love. But till we get there, if in that moment I'm being fired or cheated or betrayed, okay. So if I can't love that action, and I can't even in that moment find the love in me or generate the love in me for the person doing it, can I love the smell of the rain that's happening while I find out about it? Can I love the rays of the sun shining outside the window at the time it's happening? Can I love the breath in my own lungs and my own body that's flowing in me and connecting me to the universe? Can I love the way that the water feels as I take it in and connects me back with life on this earth? That water that has come from the ocean, evaporated into the clouds, carried and released in a river somewhere that is now in my glass. Can I love that? Can I close my eyes and think of anyone, anything I love in that moment? Do whatever you need to do to generate love within you in that moment so that you can choose love. And slowly, slowly, slowly expand all of the different people and things and experiences that you can love until ultimately it becomes just innumerable reflections of the love of the divine you have. It's like if you love someone, any picture you see of them, you're going to love them. Even one where they say, oh my God, that's a horrible picture of me. Don't look at that. Well, if you love them, that picture is going to make you smile anyway. Because you love them. Because it's of the beloved. And slowly, 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 all of the manifestations in the world, because they are images of the beloved, the divine, will fill you with love. And until that happens, anchor yourself in the ones that do already.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. How do you make meditation more fun so you can do it more often? So what is fun to you?
Well, I like watching movies.
Okay.
And like playing with my little Lego.
Playing with your?
Little Lego.
Legos. Okay. Movies and Legos. This is what meditation gets to compete with. But here's what's beautiful. Movies are fun because they show us something that is different, more exciting, more beautiful, more compelling than whatever we were otherwise doing, right? Whenever we have an instinct that says, I know, let's watch a movie, we don't say that if we're on a roller coaster. As you're going up the roller coaster, I've never heard of anybody say, I know, let's watch a movie along the way. Because the roller coaster itself is so exciting that there's nothing in the mind that says, oh, I wish I had a movie along the way. That instinct that says, let's watch a movie, is that which is going on in my life is boring or not interesting or feeling kind of shallow. And so a movie gives me something better. Well, meditation gives you something even better than that. Because meditation also shows you a whole new world. The world of you. And the beautiful thing about what meditation shows you is it goes deeper and deeper and better. Every time you watch the same movie, it gets less and less interesting. You say, I've seen that one. But every time you meditate, it shows you better and better and more, and it keeps going. When a movie is over, it's over. But when your meditation is over, what you've seen actually stays with you. And so meditation is actually showing you the truth of who you are, because moving through the world just as this body and as my possessions and my schoolwork or my corporate ladder or my social circle, it is boring. Absolutely. It is shallow. Absolutely. I agree fully. But what most of us do is we look for something out of that in a movie, in a party that keeps us kind of occupied for a few hours, then maybe another one. Then maybe we instigate some drama in our personal life. That'll keep us busy for a little while. Then maybe we instigate some drama in a different personal relationship. That'll keep us busy for a while. And then another movie. But meditation actually keeps growing and growing and growing. And what's so beautiful is once you start really meditating, the rest of your life stops being so boring. Because what you see in meditation, you actually are able to see in the rest of your world. So it actually makes your life more exciting. Not just meditation is exciting, but meditation actually makes your life exciting. But meditation you have to do, so it's a little harder. A movie, somebody else did. You just get to sit there and enjoy it. Meditation, you actually have to do it. Yes.
Well, do you think that something does kind of make meditation fun to me?
Great, it is fun.
It's because that it's like I'm dreaming of what I would like in the world. Like as if all the Nerf guns, all my favorite toys were all for free and I could all take them and do whatever I wanted to do.
Okay, so that's great. Thank you. Now, that is what we call daydreaming. It's also really fun. It's especially really fun if you're sitting in math class that isn't so fun, and you look out the window and maybe you close your eyes. Great. But instead of just dreaming about getting all the things I want, that's not a very high dream. That's a very low dream. Like that's something that could be done here. Come sit there. That's something that could be done very easily. But meditation actually gives you all of what you want already inside you. So it's already right in here. You don't need all the toys. Now your parents are going to keep buying them for you anyway, don't worry. But what you finally realize What you'll get to a point, at some point in your life, you're going to tell me, now I've seen it. Now I know what you meant. You're going to get to a point where your eyes are closed and maybe you were thinking about getting something. But then suddenly, you have that experience of knowing, I have it all. I am it all.
You don't need it.
Exactly, you don't need it because it's all there. I have everything. I am so full. And that is the most beautiful and exciting and fun moment of meditation, and you just keep going back for more.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. It's a very special opportunity. Every minute, every moment of our lives is the moment. Every moment we decide, okay, enough of the stories, enough of the falsehood, enough of the drama, enough of the ego, enough of all of that. That's the moment of light. And yet, there are certain moments that are particularly auspicious for that to happen. And so, is freedom available and accessible every minute of every day of the year? Absolutely. And there are certain moments where the power is especially strong and where it's especially auspicious. And this is one of those moments where the power of the universe is there working for you tonight. The power of the universe is there to help you break free. But what's important, especially for those of us coming from abroad, or those of us even from within India, without that level of depth and complexity of understanding what we mean when we speak about disillusion, as Lord Shiva being the divine power of disillusion. It's not about taking from you that which you love and want and need. It's not that that sense of, oh, I don't want that energy of destruction because I need to hold on. It's the energy that literally pulls you into the next step, that freedom of your own spiritual awakening. And so whatever it was that was blocking you from it, whatever illusion or ignorance or attachment or ego that was blocking you from it, or story or false identity or drama that was blocking you from it, this is that divine energy that removes that. But it's not about this violent, painful removal. It's rather about a transformation within you. And this is where there's so many mantras, so many prayers dedicated to Lord Shiva, but the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, which when we go to do our puja, our abhishek, is what will be. They'll chant it over and over and over and over again. It's the mantra that says, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvadukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshi Yamamritat. And it's a very, very sacred mantra. It's seen as the mantra of awakening, freedom, the mantra of immortality. And here's what's so beautiful about it in terms of letting go. There's a part of it, and this is my favorite aspect of the mantra. There's a part of it that speaks about, O Lord Shiva, make me as ripe as that fruit or that squash. Sometimes they translate it as a fruit, sometimes as a squash. But make me as ripe as that. The Ordva Rukam. There isn't an English translation that I know of, but a type of fruit that when it gets really ripe, it automatically drops the vine. So if you've ever gone plucking certain fruit, apples, oranges, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpkins, whatever it may be, some of them come off the vine or the tree very, very easily. Some of them you have to kind of pull. This particular fruit is one that when it's actually ripe, you don't have to pull it at all. The vine automatically drops away. And here's what is so extraordinary about that. When we think of aspects being removed from us, destruction, disillusion, we think of it as this painful experience of, oh my God, that which I loved, that which I wanted. Okay, maybe it wasn't good for me, but I loved it. I wanted it so much. And then I must have mistakenly prayed to Lord Shiva because he came through and removed it from me. It's not like that. This prayer, this mantra gives us exactly what it is. It's not, oh, come and rip me off the vine. Oh, come and separate me from that which I'm attached to. No. Oh, come and make me so ripe that those attachments automatically fall away. Make my spiritual experience, my spiritual awakening. I avoid the word progress because progress sort of implies a ladder, and That's the way most of us think about our academic lives or our career lives, as though somehow there's somewhere to go, as though somehow there's a higher and a lower and a rung, it's not like that. So our spiritual awakening, our spiritual experience, our spiritual truth, our spiritual freedom, our spiritual courage to allow ourselves to become ripe. Because you know what happens when something gets ripe? What happens to it? Think for a moment. Think about fruit. Think about squash. Think about anything. As it gets ripe, and then even over, it gets very, very sweet. Yes, and what else? Soft. Yeah. So it takes courage to allow ourselves to be ripened, softened, sweetened beyond that hard, contracted life that so many of us live. I have to be like this. If I'm not like this, the world will walk all over me. I won't get ahead. They'll take advantage of me. Who will look after me? It's all contraction. It's all smallness. It's all hardness. When we let ourselves get ripe, we become soft and sweet. And automatically that vine that we were so attached to, that death grip that we were holding over our lives. This is how it has to be, how I want it, when I want it, what I want. It automatically lets go. We ripen beyond it. You know, you get so ripe and so soft that the vine no longer can hold you. And that's what Lord Shiva does. That's the prayer, make me so ripe that all of that attachment I had to my story, to my ego, to my darkness, to my ignorance, that I just become so ripe, so soft. There isn't any place for it to harden. Those attachments are hard. Sometimes when you meditate, some of the meditation techniques include a body scan before you drop into meditation. And it's a very interesting technique. We do a variety of it here sometimes with the breath, where as you breathe, you notice places within you that are hard, places within you where the breath doesn't flow easily. So you're inhaling and you're just gently bringing awareness carried on the breath into the being. And if you're really aware, you'll notice there's some places it doesn't go so easily. You don't fight them. Just hold the awareness and bring awareness and love and breath to it. But those are places where we are stuck. If there's hardness, you're stuck. And so in the ripening, in the softening, we're letting go of the stuckness. And so tonight, let that be your prayer. Oh God, whether you say, oh Lord Shiva, whether you say, oh Shankarji, or oh Shankar Bhagwan, or whether you just say, oh God, or whether you say, oh, fill in the name of whatever God in your religious tradition you pray to, it doesn't matter. If you say, oh higher self, oh truth of the universe, whatever you say, make us so ripe. Give us that courage to allow ourselves to be ripened. Give us that courage to allow ourselves to become soft and juicy and sweet. To share our sweetness with the world. To share that juiciness with the world. Because sometimes when you become soft and sweet and juicy, the birds come and they eat some of you. It happens. But it's not worth staying hard and unripe forever just to prevent an occasional random worm who's going to come and drink up some of your sweetness where it wasn't invited. It's not worth it to stay hard. So that courage to become ripe and soft and juicy, even if it means that a worm may drink some, or a bird may drink some, it's worth it. Because in that ripeness, we become free of the vine that keeps us stuck. And that's the freedom. When we speak about detachment, that's the detachment. It's not this insane process. I mean, that happens also on a spiritual path. It's not that it's all just juice. But that's when we're trying to hold on. The tug of war comes because there's a part of us still tugging on it. As long as we are tugging with our attachments, there's going to be a tug of war. When we stop tugging and have that courage to become soft and ripe and full and free, the detachment happens automatically. You don't have to push away things of the world. They drop off automatically. You don't have to berate yourself for every thought you have that's not in alignment. They drop off automatically. And so that's our sacred prayer for this evening.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. They're not actually two different paths. The path that you speak about of Swami Vivekananda, the path that so many of our saints, I mean, you've listed a whole bunch of them, but so many have given. This path of service. Well, that's what we call karma yoga. Yoga's union with God. Karma's action. Karma yoga is union with God through action. What action? Well, certainly it's not just sitting here giving myself, a manicure. Not the easiest way to God. Not just, going out shopping so that I can have more clothes and, feel more beautiful because last year's styles are out. But service, as you said so beautifully, of mankind. Because serving mankind is serving God. Puja Swamiji always says, Mana Seva is Madhav Seva. Seva of people is seva of God. Service of humanity is service of God. The creation, whether it's mankind, womankind, humankind, or nature kind, animal kind, tree kind, rivers kind, mountain kind, all of the creation is divine. That is, by the way, the path of renunciation. The path of sannyas does not say don't act. It is not a renunciation of action. That is not the vows that get taken. It is not about, just you go to the guru and you sit in a cave and you meditate. Now, I'm sure there may be some lineages where that's what they do, but that is not the actual principle. And for example, here, Puja Swamiji's teachings are all about service. If you're not serving properly, his answer is, and this is where the two overlap so deeply and beautifully, his answer is, there is a problem in your meditation. Because when meditation is done right and happens right, the most automatic byproduct of that is service. When I experience the presence of God in me in a deep and real way, I open my eyes and I see God before me. And if I don't stand up from my meditation excited to be a tool in God's hands, if I don't stand up asking, what now, what now? Puja Swamiji says there's a problem with your meditation. So they absolutely overlap. The dilemma is if you simply have service without the meditation, it's very difficult to free yourself of the ego. Now, we have had many leaders in our nation, and there have been many leaders in the rest of the world, who were not by any means renunciants. So Gandhiji was a householder. Martin Luther King was a householder. There's many, many, many examples. That doesn't matter. They don't need to renounce the relationship with the family in order to be that enlightened, awakened, pure vessel of service of the divine. Their connection to God, their meditative practices, was that which brought them to that height of both awakening, enlightenment, and therefore the ability to serve. You don't create that type of change in the world unless you are a clear vessel for God. And so if we don't have a spiritual practice The problem is then our ego gets in. Then it becomes all about me and mine and whose name and who's doing what and blah, 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 that whole nonsense. And that keeps you from really serving anybody. And so this is where that essential aspect of renunciation is. If I'm working only to make lots of extra money for my immediate family or for my personal needs, so I can have shopping therapy, for example, or just my kids separate from the kids of the world, I'm not going to be able to be a pure vessel for God's will. Because I'm going to be very focused on how much is coming back in my pocket. It's not going to be about God's will, it's going to be about my will. How do I get the most so I can have the most? That needs to be renounced. But that can be renounced even living in a family. It can be renounced wearing orange, wearing white, going naked, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, or anything in between. Putting on a certain color does not, tragically, grant instant enlightenment. It would be very nice if it did. It's about the color of your heart. And so all of these leaders you've named, and so many others, are the saints of our nation. Whether they wore orange, whether they wore white, whether they wore pants and shirts or suits and ties or whatever they wore. They were the saints of this nation. And every one of them had renounced. They had renounced their egos. They had renounced their own attachments to their vision, their small agenda, in service. Not of just certain aspects of humankind, but of humankind because of their love of God. Every one of those people was a deeply spiritual person. Every one of them did the work that they did because it was their spiritual calling. And so the two paths, meditation, renunciation, and service, there is no distinction. They're not even two paths. They're different aspects of the same path. Now, for some, the renunciation may also include a renunciation of family into celibacy. For some, it may not. But the core renunciation is the renunciation of the ego, the renunciation of the attachment, the renunciation of the us versus them, the me, mine-ness. The renunciation of what's in it for me, where's my name. That's what needs to be renounced for us to actually be in service of anyone. Certainly to be a saint of the nation or the world. This brings to a close this hour of inspiration and transformation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be together with you all each week, and I look forward to being together again next Thursday, same time, on OMTimes Radio.